Good evening, everybody. Welcome on in to episode 442 of Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We're getting ready for the playoffs, people. They're coming in a week, like a train coming down the tracks. We can see them. The light is on, and much like how you don't want a train to hit you, there is a freight train known as the Columbus Crew heading right towards TQL Stadium next week in the MLS Cup Playoffs. We have a lot to talk about. A big win over, I keep wanting to call them Montreal Impact to this day, but CF Montreal, big win on Saturday to round out the season. And then, of course, we're going to get all into the discussion about Hell is Real Playoff Edition. Joining me tonight, once again, is our good buddy, Jose. Jose, how are you doing tonight?
Good evening. I'm great. How about you guys? I hope you're doing well. I'm actually very happy to be here because it's always nice to have these shows after a win, which we'll talk a lot about. I'll talk a little bit about that today.
Absolutely. And joining us for the first time in a little bit, we've got Jeremy Lance. Jeremy, how goes it?
It's going pretty well. You talk about that train coming down the track. The question is, are we like, in the old timey movies, are we tied to that track? That's the question. Are we anxiously anticipating that, or are we in fear of that train bearing down?
A villain with a big curly Q mustache.
Absolutely.
Waiting there.
Well, before we get started, we want to give a big thank you to our sponsor, Apollo Home. Apollo wants to remind you that during this weird in-between season where it's not quite summer, but it kind of feels like it, but it could be winter any second, now is the perfect time to get your HVAC system checked out before it gets cold and stays there. They're bringing back their $29 coupon for CST listeners for your pre-season tune-up for your furnace. Probably need to get that done. I know I do. And as always, keep them in mind for any electrical or plumbing need. Give them a call, send them a text, or schedule online at apollohome.com. We're going to dive into our best and worst here with Jeremy. Let's start off. We also want to hear from you all in the chat. We'll get some of your best and worst as well.
So my best of the week was in a win that, and we'll talk about it, in a win that was relatively straightforward. When the goals did happen, there was a nice bit of swagger to them. Sure, you were going against a downed opponent that, the season has already been over for them for some time, but still, they played well. They scored good goals, and there was a little bit of a swagger. Brenner goes over and gets the Brazilian flag out of the sword thing and puts that on after his goal. There was a bit of a cockiness, a swagger, which I think I would prefer to have that heading into the playoffs than backing into the playoffs, or kind of running out of steam down the street. Something we've done in the past with FC Cincinnati has run out of steam, or we could be like the Reds and lose to get into the playoffs. That went well. So yeah, I felt good about the way the season ended. It ended with a nice exclamation point, a nice bit of swagger. My worst, and obviously this is something we're gonna talk a lot about here, was that moment that I realized what awaited us when I finally saw. Oh wait, so who's okay? So we're second. So who's gonna be in seventh? Oh no. That sinking feeling in the midst of that fun win was my worst.
We'll dive into that. Let's get a couple of the listener best and worst. Sean Pace, best Hagelin goal, worst Hagelin penalty. So a double dip there for Nick Hagelin. We'll get another one here before we go to Jose. Best, Kubo looked very gelled with the attackers when he played left wing back. Better than Marchuk. Worst, continued injuries. Jose, give us your best and worst.
Well, I have to mention the back line. I mean, they were really good. We'll talk a little bit about that, but they look solid even with the absence of Matt in there and without Orellano. They look solid, so they play really well. And I have to make an honorable mention to Pat Noonan, who I think this time got the subs just right on. He got the roster right in the beginning and the subs right. To me, that they were as close to perfect as you can get with all the injuries and rotations. The worst were the missed opportunities. And kind of a consistent theme with this team throughout the season. Thinking, why, how come they didn't score there? And honorable mention to Montreal's dirty play. I mean, these guys should be thinking about vacation, but instead they kept thinking, okay, let's see how many of these guys we can take with us.
I did kind of notice that a little bit. One of the things, you're right. I thought for sure Montreal, we'll talk about it, but they did look like a team that was kind of like, whatever, the season's over. But that did not stop them from going studs up a few times. I was very surprised at that. Thanks for bringing that up, Jose. Josh Dye, best peaking at the right time. Worst collective fearfulness of this fan base has against the boogeyman up I-71. Very apt from Josh Dye. Jeff Tebbets, host of Jersey Swap. And if you didn't listen to last week's Jersey Swap, big shout out. They had Montreal preview, but then there was also an extra bonus episode before this weekend with David Goss. If you get a chance, go back and listen to that.
Yeah, it's good.
It's not really timely anymore, but it's still good, and you should listen to it. So
still a fun listen. Yeah. Almost as good as Jeff's lie here that you're about to read. Read Jeff's lie.
So Jeff, best Columbus draw. Let me start over. I can't read today. It's been a long day.
Read the lie slower.
The best part for Jeff is Columbus draw gives us the best matchup for the playoffs. In parentheses, yeah, I said it. Worst, my blood pressure will be higher than it has ever been over these next 3 weeks.
Well, that part will be true.
As will mine. My best, I'm going to give it again to Nick Hagglund, but only because of his goal celebration, which if you didn't see it was the Fountain Square, the Genius of Water pose. Which
I was definitely confused when he first did it. I was like, what? What is that supposed to be?
I mean, this is a dude, Cincinnati through and through. He's given us an icky shuffle after a goal.
He did.
Before.
He did that in front of nobody. That was during COVID.
Yeah. So, and we were all delighted by it. And so he busts out of Fountain Square. I wonder what other Cincinnati thing he could do as a celebration. Maybe bust out a coney or something and
eat a coney.
Eat a coney right after he scores. I think that would be
what he could do is bounce a check to a prostitute as his. I mean, if we're talking good Cincinnati history.
Oh my God! Yeah, the shades of Jerry Springer.
Our late great mayor bouncing a check to a hooker. I mean, it'll take some context. I don't know how you're going to mime that one out. Nick might not be the one for that, but whatever.
You'd have to plan a whole sketch around.
You're going to need multiple. There's going to be holes to fill there. You're
going to need
two actors involved.
You're going to need the lady of the evening.
Yes.
You're going to need a bank teller.
Correct.
Yeah. It'll be at least a 3-person.
Oh, you know what he could do instead? It might be easier. He could pantomime betting on baseball.
Oh,
he could do that. That's another option.
Oh, indeed. My goodness. I was going to say I don't know, chug a Hellas real beer or something like that. But no, Jeremy's got to go in the Cincinnati deep cuts. I like it though.
That's what I do.
Go pull a Joe Horn and pull the Sharpie out of the sack. That was a great.
Do that. Yeah.
That was a great one. Sean, do the Cincinnati pose next.
Oh, I guess
for that you need a toga, the fascies or whatever they're called. Yeah.
Yes. You need that.
And a plow. Yeah.
And a plow. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, that's enough of talking about goal celebrations.
But hey, Brenner did prove that if you do involve props, you're not going to get a yellow for it. So
that's right.
You're not going to get a yellow for it. And it's only 50% of the time will you get a yellow for lifting your shirt up to honor a fallen teammate.
Yeah.
I'm still mad about that.
Interesting amount of what that 50% falls.
Yeah.
Who it happens to and who it doesn't.
I think, well, let's with Denke, because Denke was out in this match due to yellow card suspension. Half the yellow cards involving his abs. If I looked like that, I'd be shirtless.
I would never have a shirt. I wouldn't
exactly. And honestly, who could blame you? Like his abs have abs.
Nah, dude's got it.
He said, "Yeah, that's right. He's abs do abs."
So let's get into this match. Kevin Dinke, as I mentioned, not in the lineup. Your lineup for FC Cincinnati: Roman Celentano returns to goal. We had a back line, interesting back line of Teenage Hadibi, Miles Robinson, Nick Haglin. Then you had the wing backs of Powell and Marchuk. Obi Wobodo returns in defensive mid. Pavel Buka there supporting him. Of course, Evander at the number 10 role. And then your starting strikers were Brenner, Kai Kamara. Kai Kamara still looking for his first goal in FC Cincinnati uniform. Almost had one. What's that?
Yeah.
The search goes on. He almost had a few opportunities.
Yeah.
Throughout this match where you're like, here it is. Oh, okay. Nope. Took too many
he intercepted one right in front of the goalie and thought, there it is. And nope.
Hit it into the row R. Awesome.
Yeah. I will say, and Jose, you put a nice blurb about this in the show notes, but it did look like FC Cincinnati came out right out of the gate looking to cause some trouble in the final third.
Yeah, I think the lineup that, again, as I said, that Pat put together, I think was right on. Yes, he was limited a little bit with the injuries and the rotations, but he got the tactics right. He got the lineup right. I mean, everything seemed to be clicking. There were some burps in there, some hiccups, but it was to be expected. You got Obi back, you got Roman back, you're still missing Matt. But overall, I watched the game again on Sunday. I thought, they really played well. Yes, it was against a bad team. But you know what? This time, at least, they didn't play down to the level of their competition. They put them away. Now, it was a little tricky there because with that PK, had that gone in, we might be talking a different result today. But in general, I think they got it right. They got everything right. And the subs at halftime, I thought, were just right on too, with Flores, Yuya, and I'm missing who was the third one and Guidi, I think it was.
Yeah, Guidi.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he got it right. So, to me, it was a very good display of what this team can do if they're clicking, if the subs are done right, and if they just put away the teams that they needed to put away. And they did that with Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal, I think everybody was kind of expecting a win here. And I'll go on record as saying and this is just based on how the season has gone, I was not expecting a 3-goal win. I think I put out the meme from, I don't know if any of you all watch I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson, that show. I love that show.
Yeah.
But I put out this meme like where we scored 3 goals and it was Tim Robinson saying, I don't think you're allowed to do that. Was it just that they were playing down to playing a bad opponent, Jeremy? Or do you think maybe they just kind of had some fire to end out the season on a high note?
I think it's definitely both. Listen, Montreal is not a good team. They finished second to last in the East. They were already, flipping through booking.com deals on the bench, trying to figure out what they're doing with the rest of their offseason as it begun the minute that match ended. So, yeah, you had a team on the beach that was never good to begin with. I think the blood was in the water for FC Cincinnati. They knew they could go out on top with a nice win against a team that, listen, if you're letting Anunga have clean runs into the box with shots on goal, you are not putting in an effort worthy of an MLS match. That's just how it is. Mm-hmm. So that right there is a great example of the fact that Montreal was not about this match. They weren't really in it. They definitely seem to not. They're not good anyways, and they showed it. And so I think you saw FC Cincinnati seeing a team they could tee off on, they could have some fun with, they could exercise some demons. It felt more, especially with 3 halftime substitutions. It almost had a feel of a bit of like a training or a scrimmage where they were just kind of getting those reps in. Let's get some runs in here. and that worked out well for them. And as I said earlier, like it helps them have a nice little momentum and swagger and feel good about it. But yeah, I mean, Montreal stunk. I mean, it's plain and simple. They went up against a very inferior opponent that was really not in a mood to actually play 90 minutes.
And it's the first, I looked this up. It's the first time that FCC in their MLS history has actually won their last home game. There have been draws or losses.
Wow.
So this is the first time since they joined MLS that they won their last home game. I mean, they won their last games, but on the road. But at home, it's the first time they've done this.
Well, Nick Hagelin, as we mentioned, 33rd minute, puts the ball into the box on a corner kick. I want to say that's our first corner kick goal of the entire season. I could be wrong on that.
That feels right. I missed a goal. My daughter wanted a pretzel, so I'm like, we're going to miss a goal. Can we wait till halftime? No. So I missed that one.
Your daughter is old enough to get her own pretzel.
That's what I said.
I almost missed it, guys. I was talking to my seatmate, and then I turned just in time as Nick spun in the air because I thought, well, it's a corner kick. I mean, nothing's going to happen, right?
Right.
Almost missed it.
I wasn't at the match, but I think I've talked about this before. I have this really bad habit of going to the restroom and then FC Cincinnati scoring. So, for the playoffs, if I'm out of town on Monday next week, so I'll miss that playoff game. God willing, we have more playoff games after that. I will be in the restroom the whole playoff game.
Just go there the whole time. Camp out.
Yeah. Just camp out, just going to watch it from my phone with a urinal or something. Yeah.
Sit on that toilet and let your legs go numb.
So Nick Hagelin, 33rd minute, puts FCC on the board. Guys, a really good statistical performance from FC Cincinnati, 2.17 XG. I'm not an XG truther, but that's pretty high for this team.
Yeah, it is.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's a nice one. I mean, that has often been the beat against this team a lot this season, is those numbers not hitting levels that this offense should be. Those XGs should be a lot higher. Yeah, no, that was a nice little impressive number to see.
7 shots on target to Montreal's 3, 5 big chances to Montreal's 1. And I want to say that was that one big chance really their PK? I can't remember.
That's a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And Montreal did win the possession battle 54% to 46%. I don't take much from that, mainly because that's still pretty even once you think about it. Evander in the 56th minute. Real quick, I do want to mention Yuya Kubo sub in like the 47th minute, I think it was, and was subbed into left back. Mm-hmm. The Swiss Army knife of FC Cincinnati is getting playing time. Did anything about him playing left back really like stand out to you all?
Just as I recall, I thought he's clicking really well in that position. It's like he's playing well. Now, he had, of course, a couple of Yuya moments where he's moving the ball and he trips over it. But I expect that to happen in every game. He's going to move. He's going to trip over it. But in general, it just seemed to fit right in. Now, I don't know. It's because the training has been that intense. Make sure that he's comfortable in that role, in that position. But it just seemed to function really well up there and had a couple of chances up there to either shoot or create opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I watch all matches with Yuya Kubo tinted glasses. So that man does no wrong in my book ever. So I was delighted to see him get to play the whole second half.
And he's the kind of guy that you want to have healthy, ready to go for the playoffs. So to get a full half out of him was really good.
Yeah.
Evander finally gets off the schneid. He had kind of gone on a little scoring drought in the 56th minute, gets the goal. Guys, I was watching the whip around coverage and I did not see Evander's goal. I was watching,
which you should have seen it because it was an impressive goal. He just kind of does his thing and just slowly dog walks the entire back line and then picks his spot.
Now, to be fair, though, to be objective, there was no pressure on him.
No, that's again back to Montreal, not really in this play.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, okay, yeah, want to shoot, go ahead, shoot. But still, I mean, as I saw him moving parallel to the box, it says he's looking for a shot. He's looking, and all of a sudden, at least from where I was sitting, guys, it looked like the slowest shot I've ever seen it go. It just seemed to kind of roll there, but he positioned it perfectly well.
I mean, it was like a penalty where you just got the keeper to go the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like you just roll it in where you want it and just hope that they go the other direction.
Yeah.
Which he kind of was.
That is one thing that he does really well is he lulls. You'd think they wouldn't fall for it, but he seems to lull defenders to sleep a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And very few of his goals are really hit with a ton of pace on him. He is just very good at lulling the defense and then finding a good open spot opposite the keeper. So
yeah, I mean, he had that little bit of misdirection where he's kind of moving left with it, and then it hits the shot that kind of just neatly just fades right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was a nice goal. It was it was classic Evander. It was just this very classy. It looked effortless from him, and which is the crazy thing about him. He makes these great moments, these great shots, these great bits of skill look like it takes no effort from him. He's not no sweat and not bat an eye. He's just making this very clean move that just catches everyone.
Sean Pace in the comments, the best part of that goal was Brenner walking back, trying not to interfere. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming Brenner was in an offside position. And
yeah, Brenner was kind of just standing there like he knew he was going to shoot. And I kept freaking out. I'm like, you better not get in the way of this guy's shot. You get this whole thing offside because you're just standing there.
I will say that the communication and the vibes between Evander and Brenner, since Brenner has come on board, have just been immaculate. Like I was kind of worried about that a little bit because we knew that old Brenner kind of clashed with people from time to time, but I mean, Jose, what have you seen with this combo of Evander and Brenner?
Yeah, as I was watching the game, I mean, that's exactly what I was thinking. These guys are clicking. They're clicking really well. And when I watched the game again yesterday, it just reinforced me. There's a certain communication now going on between these two that just seems to be very seamless. Like they know where each one is going to go, or they get out of each other's way, or they run where the ball is going to go. And that is very, very encouraging. Now, the one concern I have is when Denke comes back, because he will come back, you know, how do they integrate them into that duo now? Because that duo is clicking. How do we get now Denke to click, or both of them to click with Denke? And that could be just absolutely lethal if they can get it done quickly.
Yeah, if they can bring Denke into that Jogo Bonita lifestyle that the two of them are rocking out there, you know?
Yeah.
If they can get him part of that, oh my goodness, look out.
So maybe Denke needs to take some Portuguese lessons.
A little bit of Portuguese might help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably helpful.
We'll wrap this up real quick. Brenner finishes it off in the 88th minute. I want to point out, Jose, that our boy Dotto got the assist on that.
Yep. I mean, he turned around and did this perfect assist, and then it was all Brenner. I mean, it was all hustle. He got yanked. He kept going. I mean, he did not flop because you know how a lot of players are. You barely touch them and they're flopping around like you chop the leg off. He just kept going, and then he like brushed up the center back, I think, and then kicked it in. So a lot of that was Brenner, but it was a perfect assist from Dotto.
He was not going to miss. He knew he was determined. He's like, hey, I got a prop planted on the corner. I need to go get this. I'm not wasting that prop.
Yeah.
When I played soccer, I was never great. I didn't score a lot of goals. I'll freely admit that. I, in my life, would never have enough confidence to go place a prop somewhere in anticipation of scoring. Nor would I write a message on my undershirt because I
always
know
think about that. Like how many messages have we never seen because the guy didn't end up scoring? Like, and they had some heartfelt message to somebody, a family member, or whatever, and then they had a bad game, and we never saw it.
See, what you do in that case is you're the first person to go celebrate with the goal scorer.
Yeah,
but then you lift up your shirt while you're running to like celebrate with them.
The most famous one that was in the 2010 World Cup final, where Iniesta scored the winning goal in overtime with like 6 minutes left in the game. And as he's running after he scores, he pulls out his shirt, and it's this message to a good friend of his that had died in a training or something like that. And I thought, now what guts, I thought, to do that, because you're assuming you're going to do something, you're going to score for you to celebrate and take that. And in the World Cup final, wow.
I mean, how many other cryptic messages did Mario Balotelli have? We only saw "Why Always Me." What were the other ones? What were the other Riddler moves he had going on?
Wild Bill. Wild Bill Balotelli.
Man, that's a guy I'm surprised never came to MLS.
I mean, he played in an all-star game against MLS and tried to backheel a ball, and the keeper collected it with about the effort that I do to pick up one of my kids' toys off the ground.
All right. So MLS, or we wrap up the season. FCC wraps up the season as a number 2 seed in the East. Good, strong finish to round out the season. Jose, you had some great stats in the rundown about XG and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Again, it's great to end the season on a win. The swagger you guys talked about was great to see. We put away a team that should have been put away. I mean, business that went and did the business and got rid of that. It's okay, next. But then I went back and started looking at the stats, the cumulative stats for the season, especially the XG. We talked about what great XG they had in this game, 2.71. But the cumulative, now this is across all games, the cumulative difference between XGs and XGs against was minus 6.7. Minus 6.7. And I graphed something. I put a graph and said, okay, what does it look like on a game-to-game basis? Game-to-game, it's fairly stable, up and down, up and down, up and down. But because of all the downs, the cumulative graph goes down. And okay, it's cumulative. I get it. But it's a little concerning that we're playing a team that has a positive cumulative XG differential. So we'll talk more about, obviously, hell is real. So again, on a game-to-game basis, it's fairly consistent. But if you add all of those up, we're in the negative, minus 6.7 for the year in XGs.
Josh Dye says, if I never have to hear about XG again, it'll be too soon. I'm
still trying to figure out what that even means. I am still
what XG is.
You can sit here and explain it to me. I got nothing. I won't figure it out.
I've actually read a lot and studied a lot. And as an engineer, I understand, but I understand also how it's probabilities, but it is probabilities after all at the end of the day.
Well, Sean Pace has a good question here. How much of it is game state and style, score a goal and sit back absorbing attack? And I think for FC Cincinnati, that's what it is. There's two things playing into it.
Mm-hmm.
Is FC Cincinnati doesn't take a lot of high chance opportunities inside the box. They don't take a lot of chances, period, which is something that has irritated me to no end this season. And I'm sure it's irritated everybody else. And then once Cincinnati's up, they do tend to sit back. And that's another thing that's irritated me all season, because you spent however many millions of dollars in the offseason. You would, and it's not like they haven't gotten production out of Denke and Evander, but you would be expecting them to be winning games 2-0, 3-1, have a few fours up there on the scoreboard. And that just hasn't happened this year. And I think that's, like Josh Dye here says, it's a subjective stat, has its place, but too many people consider it the stat instead of, the actual score. I think there's something to that. I think they're trying to impose a stat on soccer to get people talking about something. But I don't think it's as subjective as Josh says, especially once you figure out what it kind of means. So,
yes,
there's my rant on XG.
Yeah, I mean, like all stats, right? I mean, you got to look at the entire field in front and says, okay, is this significant or not? To me, this is a personal opinion, by the way. I mean, it is significant because what it tells me is, okay, you guys, there are other teams that have had more opportunities, meaning they've taken more chances. Come the playoffs, you're going to have to take more risks. We can't just score and sit back because this is a whole new level of play now. We've seen playoffs, we've seen the intensity, and especially these first guys that are coming here next Monday.
There's no history of us sitting back against them, right? Not going well?
No, of course not. No, we're always attacking.
Man,
So that's why, to me, this is important because it tells me, okay, you guys are going to have to take more risks in the playoffs. You can't just score and kind of sit back and, hope for the best. And as you said, they spend a lot of money and a lot of firepower. Well, let's see that firepower. Let's take some more risks. Now, we saw a little bit of that on Saturday, but again, it was against a bad team.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully this gives us the confidence to say, yeah, okay, we can do this. I mean, we can create more, but we just going to have to take a little bit more risk.
Well, we'll talk about playoffs here right after we thank our sponsor, Beyond Exercise, for the second half of the show. Beyond Exercise is a local physical therapy and fitness business that helps people stay active and injury-free. In fact, they've helped some of our local MLS Next Pro, and FCC Academy players with their health and performance needs. Check out their suite of services at gobeyondexercise.com. We want to thank them for being a sponsor. Let me get their logo up. There we go. Well, fellas, we've talked about it. We've danced around it a little bit. Monday night, the 27th of October, 6:45 p.m., live from TQL Stadium. Hell is Real Playoff Edition in the first round, best of 3 series against the Columbus Crew. Jose, you talked about being a little less timid in the box, being a little bit more aggressive. We saw FC Cincinnati pull out a draw at Columbus in a game where they went up on a really bad shot. Just kind of went in. Yep. And then sat back for like 75 minutes of gut-wrenching defensive soccer. Mm-hmm. We also saw in Hell is Real 2.0 this year, FC Cincinnati go up 2-0.
Fairly fast, by the way.
Fairly fast.
Yeah.
And then sit back and then lose 4-2. How are you feeling going in to this match?
I'm feeling very nervous, and here's why. Okay, great win on Saturday. We already talked about that. I won't go over that. But now we're going to face a team that, in a way, I hate to say this, kind of has our number. And I'm wondering if, some of the players who have gone through those experiences, Obi, Nick, and others, the 2023 loss, this year's loss, I wonder if, psychologically, they're just a little, are we going to be too nervous here? Are we going to be so pressured to get a good result at home that we're actually going to mess it up? So my concern more is going to be on the mental state of the players who have gone through this already. The Denkies, because Brenner wasn't here in 2023. He was gone by then. So he didn't go through that horrible loss in 2023.
That's why we lost.
Yeah. And in 2024, he was still not here. So, 2025, I'm sorry. So there are players there that haven't gone through this. Maybe that's the ace we have. That's okay. Yeah, this is a game, but we haven't gone through that trauma. Whereas we have others that have. If those players that haven't been here say, okay, this is another game, an important game, an intense game. We're going to take it to these guys. Then I think we have a chance. But if there's any psychological component there that makes them more cautious, again, not taking risks in the box, then I'm concerned as to what that first result would be. And by the way, they do have a prolific scorer in Rossi. So if they can stop Rossi, they have Gazdag. We know that he can come up big in the big games, and Russell Rowe also. If they can stop Rossi, then there's a chance there too. And their backline is not that good. They accepted 50 goals. They've received 50 goals and scored 52, I think, is the stat. So if we turn that spigot on, okay, maybe we win 3-2, 4-3. I don't care as long as we win. But again, they're going to have to take risks in the box, and hopefully that psychological component has been somehow purged. They're professionals. It should, but you never know.
I was trying to find their goals conceded stats, but I must have scrolled past it. Jeremy, looking at Columbus Crew, the good news is for FC Cincinnati is since League's Cup ended, so Columbus Crew came back to MLS play on August 16th. They have only won 2 games in that time.
Right.
Back in September 13th in a 5-4 win against Atlanta, where they wound up giving up 4 goals. And then Saturday 3-1 against the Red Bulls, who are out of the playoffs. Do you think we should take that into account going into this weekend, or are all bets off?
All bets are off. This is the playoffs. It's a completely different game. Look at 2 years ago when the Crew won the whole stinking thing. That was a regular season where they were constantly throwing away matches in the final minutes. The playoffs come and the game changes, and you can do the whole throughout the record books. You can, it's mentality. It's a mentality thing. And as much as you can say, well, this guy wasn't on the team, this guy wasn't on the team, this is a demon that this club has to get past.
Yep.
And they have to, this is something that they have time and time again had horrible scenarios go down. And there is the rivalry factor of it. There is the fact that you're going to have a strong away contingency there. There is the fact that you have 2 managers that, you kind of said the Crew has our number. I would say more specifically, Nancy has our number.
Nancy.
And I think this is going to be not just getting past a 7th seed who has not had a great season and who has a weak back line and whose big money striker is out for the season. This is FC Cincinnati getting past their own stumbling blocks that historically they have not been able to do.
Yep.
And so I worry. This is why we freaked out, right? This is why we all freaked out Saturday night when we saw the matchup. It wasn't because, we have to play the Crew, we got to put up with their fans, and blah, 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 blah. And now there's going to be added history that we weren't expecting to the historic rivalry, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter. It's the fact that we all knew in our heads, this is the one team that can screw our season over in a way more painful than any other team. We lose in the first round to any other team in the league. It's bad season, bad, bad. But we had a bad run there in the playoffs. We didn't hit our mark. We now once again floundered in the playoffs. We do that in this, it's 10 times worse because it's that new horrible moment in this historic rivalry where we, they wear the yellow jerseys and we step on that banana peel. And this is what we got to not do. And these are the demons we have to exercise. And so I just, that's my fear. And that's why I don't care really how the Crew played in the regular season, because they've proven themselves over the past several years that it doesn't matter what they do in the regular season. They know how to turn it on. Do we know how to turn it on? That's what we got to find out.
Columbus Crew does have some injuries. Diego Rossi is out. He probably, I think, will be back for the playoffs. Mo Farsi, I think, is probably out for the rest of the season. Their new guy, Abu Ali, is out, I think, also for the rest of the season. But FC Cincinnati, Jabari, turns out he's injured. He may come back sometime in November. Brad Smith, injured. Luca Orishano, also injured. Lucas Engel, also injured. And Matt Miazga, also injured. There's a lot of injuries to key players between both of these teams. I do have to ask, because you do want Matt Miazga healthy. I think everybody, it'll be great. If he is not available, does that affect your all's level of concern, because for me, FC Cincinnati's been playing fine without him at this point.
Sure. But it'd be nice if we didn't have to. It'd be nice if we didn't have to play fine without him. If we could just have our full strength back line in the matches that matter most. So as much as I think we could get through this, and I think we have a capable enough roster. And again, the regular season tells the story of a squad that is the second best in the division or in the conference, and very strong and capable of scoring goals, and has all of this talent in every location, and even despite injuries, has actually relatively decent depth heading into us in a lot of positions. Yeah, I mean, it's can we do it? Can we do it when the spotlight is the brightest?
Josh Dye brings up another good point, and I kind of agree with him here. Jose, I want your take on this. No one gives Columbus more validation than the FCC fan base.
I mean, second only to actual history and stats of this league.
Well, I think there's some of that, right? I mean, I've been monitoring some of the boards, and it's like, oh my God, here comes FC, here comes the Crew, those guys up north, they have our number. Can we get over that hump? And so, yes, I think there is some of that. And you heard me say that too. You know, can this team mentally get over that hump of a good team that turns it on in the playoffs and that has given us a couple of painful defeats in the last few years? So I think, yeah, the fan base, I think, kind of validates it a little bit. Now, if FCC can erase that demon, then maybe, and that starts with me too, says, okay, we're over the hump now. This is good.
I think there is something to that. I mean, if you look at the record, the Crew do have a better record in this rivalry. I think it's like 8 wins and to Cincinnati's 4. And then there's 6 draws between it. So, you know, they do kind of have our number. Here's the thing that bothers me the most. And I'm doing my best not to even trash talk, to just kind of stay offline, because most of the time when there's a hell is real, I don't shut my mouth. I really, and I'll freely admit, I went from being I was a Crew fan before FCC became a thing. FCC became a thing. Then I was like, great, FCC's my team. And then the Crew did the whole save the Crew thing. And I'm one of these weirdos who that made me hate the Crew.
Okay. That's
I'm glad they have a team, kinda. Like, you got a team, good, but they give off such divorced dad energy that I can't deal with them. I can't deal with their fan base. I can't deal with their attitude. I can't deal with the fact that they back it up on the field too. That irritates me even more, because
like most divorced dads, they'll eventually move to Cleveland.
They will, you know. And that also bothers me too, that because they're in bed with the Haslams, but that's the only good thing the Haslams have going on.
They chose to dance with the devil.
They did. Be careful what you wish for. But I'm not gonna. This is the end of it. I'm not gonna trash talk the rest of the week, and it bothers me because I really want to.
Starting now.
Starting right now. But the last time, you know, Eastern Conference Final, we won't dwell on it, but I trash talked that entire time, and I made an ass of myself at the stadium. I'll freely admit that. But I think that that sticks in the back of our throats. Every FCC fan, regardless of what happens in the regular season, it's that playoff win that just, you know, that's the one that just keeps poking at you until you get it back. So anyway,
when I lived in Mexico City, there was a college rivalry that was just super intense. 2 major universities. Didn't matter how either school did during the season, but the important game was when they played. Whoever played, you know, this is the game. We don't care if we haven't won any game. If we just win that one, that was it. That was the important thing.
Yeah, well, Crew fans, since most of them don't have another pro sport to root for, know all about the OSU-Michigan rivalry. And, you know, there have been coaches fired because they couldn't beat Michigan, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Or they punched a player.
Yeah.
I saw that live on TV.
But this is one thing about, I don't know about you all. I was watching the whip around coverage. I was keeping an eye on the Miami game because I knew all we needed was a win or a draw. We lock up second. How closely were you following that Columbus game and then the wild card kind of table watching?
So, I mean, see, I saw that the Columbus match, I did not see them faltering. So I had actually switched my attention over to Chicago. Hey, if Chicago wins, they can vault into seventh. We'll play Chicago. I don't, whatever. Chicago means nothing to me. I say that wearing a Cubs hat. And I was born there. But that team means nothing to me. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Okay. We'll play freaking Berhalter and his goofy bunch. That'd be awesome. I'll take that 100 times over. So that was actually the match I ended up focusing on.
Yeah, I was at the stadium, so I was just watching the scores on my phone constantly. Say, okay, and then of course when Columbus goes ahead, oh no, no. That's when I felt this pit in my stomach. It's like, oh.
I'm going to. We're running out of time here, so we'll wrap up the Columbus with. I want your prediction. Does FC Cincinnati advance? Do they advance in 2 or 3? Yeah. Does FC Cincinnati advance? Do they advance in 2 or 3? Jose.
Oh boy. Well, I have a lot of thoughts about that, but I'll reserve those for my final thoughts. The answer is a qualified yes in 3.
In 3.
And I'll get into my final thoughts. I will explain that.
Jeremy.
Yeah, I would kind of be. Yeah, I think I'm going to say the same thing. I think it's going to be yes. I think they pull this off, but I think it will be done in the most nerve-wracking, painful manner possible, which is going the distance of 3 matches, and it luckily then being decided at home. But
yeah,
I just like
with a goal by Kai Kamara, huh?
Yeah, I will go.
That would be poetic
behind the couch.
I know. Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'll be the optimist, which is rare for me. I'll be the optimist of the group. I'll say FC Cincinnati gets it done in 2, and we knock them out of the playoffs up at lower.com field. Josh Dye asked, anybody worried about attendance? I'm not. I'm out of town for work, and I sold my tickets and they sold in like 5 minutes. So I don't think we have anything to worry about attendance wise. But let's talk a little bit about the MLS Cup playoffs. I've got the bracket pulled up right here. So your wild card play-in games. In the East, you got Chicago facing Orlando on the 22nd, which is Thursday? Wednesday. The winner of that goes on to play Philadelphia. Then you've got Charlotte facing NYCFC, Miami versus Nashville in a rematch of Saturday's match in a best of 3, and then of course Cincinnati versus Columbus. Let's look at the West real quick. You got RSL, go RSL versus Portland in the play-in game. The winner of that faces San Diego, the best expansion team in MLS history, San Diego.
Oh, that was impressive.
Minnesota takes on Seattle, LAFC takes on Austin, and Vancouver takes on Dallas. Fellas, real quick, who do you see coming out of the West?
I think it's Vancouver, and here's why. I think it's because their defense is good. It's one of the best in the league. And there's the Mueller factor. I mean, what is Thomas Mueller going to do here in the playoffs? It's a big unknown. I mean, he may wilt, but then again, Thomas Mueller come out and say, okay, I'm going to take control of this game. So to me, those are the 2 factors. That's why I'm picking them.
I think LAFC, you talk about the Mueller factor. I'm going to talk about the Sonny factor. I think Heung-min Son has hit the ground running hard since he got here. I could see him dragging them deep into the playoffs by himself.
I could totally see that.
That's fair. Yeah.
That's who I have coming out of the West. In the East, of course, we're all rooting for FC Cincinnati to make it to MLS Cup. Do we think, because here's an interesting stat, since even though it's only been 2 years, but ever since they went to this best of three situation, the number one seed has not advanced to MLS Cup at all. Do we think that we see that this year, or do we see? I mean, I've already picked LAFC. We've all picked someone other than the one seed out of the West. Do we think it's likely, if FCC doesn't make it, that Philly makes it?
No.
Interesting.
No, I think as much as I don't want to see it, I think you could see Inter Miami being the tough one, the tough out, and the one that possibly gets through.
Yeah, I would agree that if it's not Philly, then it's going to be Miami. As much as I hate to say that, they just have too much firepower. The back line is not that good, but their front line is now just scoring by the buckets.
Yeah.
And I would say no to San Diego getting through, just because, I don't know, I think I have the recency bias of when St. Louis was the expansion seed that won the West and roared into the playoffs and then lost a local rivalry to an inferior cross-state opponent.
Let's hope that that's not the case. That's part of the reason I wasn't rooting for FC Cincinnati to miss out on the Shield, but I was not upset when we missed out on the Shield because my thought process was, I don't want that number one seed. Did not know who the number 7 seed would be, and that's part of the risk you run.
I now really want that 1 seed. I'll take a 3 seed at this point.
Yeah, I think we match up really good with Nashville, and I think we would match up pretty good with either of the either Chicago or Orlando.
1 point behind, guys. Just 1 point behind Philly.
Yep. So I kind of agree. I think LAFC is going to come out of the West. I think if FC Cincinnati falters, which I certainly hope we do not, I do think we match up really well with Miami if we get to that point.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that the league, and I don't think this league is as rigged as the NFL, but I think the league wants that image of Messi holding up MLS Cup so bad. And the fact that you could have an LA versus Miami matchup, Son versus Messi, two of the most marketable soccer personalities in the world.
That's what they're counting on. Yeah.
I firmly believe we're going to see some shenanigans.
Garber and Tim Apple are going to be all about having that happen.
Got to remember that.
I will say this. This is my bold proclamation. If we can get past Columbus, we have vanquished that demon, and I say the sky's the limit. I think we go all the way.
100%. I'm with you 100% on that. That being said, we got 5 minutes left. Let's round it out with our final thoughts. Jose, it sounded like you had a good one.
Well, okay. So earlier today, someone said that I should not try to decide beforehand that the team doesn't have a chance before the first ball is kicked. And I suppose that comes from my constant criticism of various aspects of this team. I mean, inconsistencies in play, not playing to the level they should, tactics that just didn't make sense, substitutions that were kind of weird, and that lack of a killer instinct. So, when I've been saying that, it's because we saw that we criticized that about the team. They're not consistent. We don't know what they're playing at. These subs really aren't done. Doesn't make sense. Why do you do it 2 minutes from the end? But on Saturday, we saw a team that controlled the game against a very bad rival, as we've said. Pat Noonan got the lineups perfectly well. The subs were perfect. Also, it's as perfect a game as I have seen him managed in a long time. So if all that comes together, then I think we can make a deep run. So again, I want to clarify that when I said this team wouldn't have a chance, I really didn't say I didn't have a chance. I said they wouldn't have a chance at a deep run if all these things I mentioned show up. Now, if they've been vanquished, and if we vanquish Columbus, then yes, I think we have a good chance of going all the way. The test is this Monday. This is the first really good test. Will they be consistent? Will they take risks? Will Pat get the lineups and the subs right? And will we have the killer instinct? Now we'll see on Monday if all that comes together.
Great. Thank you as always, Jose. Your final thoughts, Jeremy.
Uh-oh.
After I was all learned how to turn the microphone on, and a little glass half empty and panicky about this matchup, I still think this could be the moment. This could be the moment for the club, that getting past your in-state rival in a season where you were the better team and you showed that you're the better team in the playoffs when it counted. I think this could be the pivotal moment. I think, again, if they do that, they can go all the way. So yeah, we got to vanquish our demons, like the great metal 80s hair metal band would say, to hell with the devil. So that's what we're going with. We gotta get back. I think if we do this, it changes the whole dynamic of the rivalry as well. So here's hoping.
Exactly. Josh Dye with a good comment here. They've been nothing if not consistent in the one metric that matters. They know how to win. Doesn't matter how pretty it looks. All that matters is winning. And Josh, I agree. Just win, baby. There have been many a team out there who has won a championship in various sports and have done it in the ugliest way possible. I mean, Jim Tressel was the coach of Ohio State and won a BCS championship with just some of the most boring football you've ever seen. And that's kind of how I am with FC Cincinnati. They are not. Oh, what's his Jose Mourinho? Jose? They play
Jose
like
Mourinho, Jose
Yeah,
Mourinho.
like-
Oh yeah, the Portuguese guy. Yeah,
they play kind of his style. It just ugly,
ugly.
defensive minded, gets results. And
Yep.
that man won trophies all over the place. And so if that means that I have to sit and watch Jose ball throughout the MLS Cup playoffs and it ends with a star on the crest,
Hey,
I'm a
I don't
happy
care how
camper.
they win, as long as they
Exactly.
win. But
So-
again, it's
Yeah. I'd much rather see us win 4-0 every time. I do think there is something to the idea that a lot of us as FCC fans, I think, are coming into this game with a lot of justified anxiety. This week's going to stink, waiting for it. But it's a 3-game series. The first game, you want to start off good, but you need to understand you've still got possibly 2 more to go. So my advice to all FCC fans is this week, just relax, enjoy yourself. And we might finally get to see a championship in our city for the first time since 1990. All respect to Kelly Cup winners, the Cincinnati Cyclones, but a major league trophy in our city, we just got to win, baby. And that's all I'm asking of FC Cincinnati is just win. I don't care how you do it. For Jeremy Lance, for Jose, I'm Jason Ashcraft. Thank you so much for your time here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. Don't really know what's going to go on schedule-wise. I think we'll have a jersey swap this week. And as far as the weekly show, I don't know if we'll have one right after the playoff match on Monday. That remains to be seen. But be sure to check out CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com. Be sure to support us on the Patreon and do all of that. And until next time, for these fellas, I'm Jason Ashcraft. Have a good night, everybody.
have a good night.